Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for coming and joining us this afternoon and hearing about the dream of the Healing House, who we are and what we are. We're here to share our stories and our goals with you this afternoon. I'm going to start by reading our mission statement, for those of you who don't know it. The Healing House is a peer-run community organization helping adult victims of sexual crimes. We will facilitate peer-run support groups to encourage growth and healing. We will work with area professionals to create a compassionate referral system. So basically what we want to do is just really work with the area to build a good resource center for victims of sexual abuse. And for me, this dream started about 10 years ago when I was going through my own healing process, and I'm going to go ahead and read my story. This dream started for me about 10 years ago. This is when I started to deal with the abuse that I had suffered over the course of my life. My life was drastically changed when I was 5 years old. The man who lived in the same apartment complex as I did decided I was cute and wanted to touch me in inappropriate ways. He would take me to the store and buy me new clothes and toys if I didn't tell anybody. This continued for the next 2 years. Then we moved away and the abuse stopped, but the damage was already done. I had been shown things and done things that were way before my time and that my brain could comprehend. It led me to act out sexually with my friends through grade school, and then in middle school, at age 11, I got into my first serious relationship. It doesn't even make sense, however, it's true. I started a sexual relationship at the age of 11 and got pregnant the first time when I was 12 years old. I didn't know what else to do besides have an abortion. I was a child, how could I possibly raise a baby? Then the guilt got to me and I ended up pregnant again in a couple years. This time I kept my baby. I was only 15 when she was born, and I named her Kellyanne. Her father was my boyfriend I had spent every day with for the past 4 years, and he didn't want anything to do with us. This pregnancy was the end of my first serious relationship. At 15 years old, I was a single mom with a lot of family support. Of course, like any typical teenager, I knew everything. I thought my parents were overbearing, trying to control what I was doing, how I was parenting, and I didn't like it. So I was looking for the fastest way out on my own. Instead, I found my next abuser. I was 16, a sophomore in high school, and a mother. I needed a job. The man that hired me was 28 years old. He had his own apartment, and he seemed to like me. He invited me out to dinner, and I accepted. Within a month, I had moved myself and my daughter into his apartment. Kelly was about 6 months old at this time. The first few months were great. I had my own place, no one telling me what to do. Then it started. I was out for the afternoon with some friends, and when I got home, he was there waiting for me. I'd never seen anyone so mad. He didn't say anything, he just slapped me across the face. I was stunned. I didn't know what to do. Within an hour or so, he had calmed down, and he was very apologetic, and everything was fine for a while. Because of my younger years of molestation, I didn't see how bad this was. I had always had a low self-esteem, and this relationship just brought me down farther. I believed that he was the best I could ever get. I had been treated poorly by men all my life. My father left when I was 5. The man who lived next door to me took my innocence, and my first love left me stranded at 15 with a child. Although for some reason, even though men had treated me so badly throughout my life, all I wanted was their love. For many years, I put myself and my children in risky situations, both with men and other situations in other areas of my life. It wasn't until I was about 30 years old that I really started to deal with the abuse that I had suffered and started to acknowledge what happened to me. I started to have flashbacks of the abuse when I was very young. I struggled so much. I was reliving the whole thing over and over and over again, and I couldn't make it stop. I sank into a deep depression and lost control of my life. I couldn't be a wife. I couldn't be a mother. All I could do was sit in a dark room and cry. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want anyone to see me. I was full of shame, resentment, guilt, pain, sorrow, to name a few of the emotions that I was feeling all at the same time. At this point, I started my path of healing. I started to look for a therapist who I could afford, one who could understand and help me in my time of need. I found some very good therapists, but they were expensive, and I couldn't go as often as they recommended. So we would try to make do with what I could afford. I would go once a week or every 2 weeks, but without any income, this was added stress to my family financial situation. It got to the point that it was doing more harm than good, both financially and to bring everything up for an hour, and then just to go back into the real world just didn't work for me. I continued to seek help in the form of relaxation therapy, but I realized that my healing was something that I would have to do on my own. I bought myself some workbooks and worked through each chapter at my own pace. I would work on things when I had enough time and energy to spend on them. I tried to find support groups to help me stay on track with my healing. Unfortunately, I was unable to find any that met regularly. I was on a few waiting lists, but those groups never materialized. I continued to struggle and work on my own for the next year or so. Then my mother found me a great retreat called From Grief to Grace. It was a religious retreat to heal the wounds of sexual abuse. The retreat was held in Philadelphia. It took a lot of convincing, but my mother offered to come with me and pay my expenses. So I finally agreed. When we got there, I felt very overwhelmed. We were staying in the sister house with about 50 other people, male and female, young and old. During the retreat, we participated in many living scriptures, large group, small group sessions, with healing activities and individual counseling if needed. The retreat lasted 3 days. We would start at 7 a.m. in the morning and go till 10 or 11 at night, nonstop. It was exhausting, but it worked. We had time to dig deep into our souls and feel the emotions that we'd been tucking away for so many days, day after day. We were given the freedom to heal and to change those feelings by the end of the event. I had to attend this retreat twice. I had been so skeptical in the beginning that my healing was inhibited. Also, I had not set up my surroundings at home for further healing when I arrived back home. About 5 years later, I heard the retreat was going to be held again in Philadelphia. This time I was ready to go. I continued to work on my own healing in between the retreats, and the relationships around me had improved greatly. I was open to the healing and I embraced it. I knew what to expect going in, and I had a plan for when I got home. I knew it had a chance because I had at least begun a good experience the first time, even though I had been filled with apprehension. My second attempt at healing exceeded all my expectations. When I left, I felt healed. Even though I knew I still had a long road ahead of me, I felt I had the tools and the knowledge and the support system to travel it. So based on my own experiences and those that I have bonded with throughout my healing process, the opinions of educators, social workers, and other professionals I've networked with over the years, I've decided to build a place for adults to come and heal from childhood sexual abuse. The long-term goal is to have a property that will house 10 to 12 guests at a time. We want to provide a holistic treatment for adults who have not been able to live fulfilling lives because of what someone else has taken away from them. I would like to have guests stay for a period of up to 2 weeks. They will receive a combination of group and individual counseling focused on areas of self-esteem, trust, anger, rage, forgiveness, relationship skills, and family issues, to name a few. We will also include life skills, social activities, art, music, and touch therapy, meditation, and relaxation techniques in our treatment as well. My vision is to have a beautiful, large home on 10 acres of land. When our guests arrive, they will enter into a large lobby and be greeted by a welcoming staff. As they are guided through the property, they will see meditation rooms, an exercise room, large and small counseling rooms, and then they will enter the great room. This room will include a large kitchen so that the group can cook and eat together as a family. Really build those social relationships and the support systems that we need. This room will also have a large sitting area where they can sit and relax and socialize and bond. Outside there will be a pool and a relaxation area, including a hot tub and a sauna. The land will be beautifully landscaped, including walking paths with meditation and journaling areas. Upstairs, there will be 10 to 15 bedrooms with private bathrooms, a small area for guests to gather or sit peacefully and reflect on their own healing. The house will have a very peaceful and serene setting throughout. It has taken a lot of work to get to this point, and now we need your help to make this dream become a reality. Until March of this year, I've been working on this project independently. In March, I asked Paul Tompkins, my vice president, if he knew of anybody who might be interested in joining me in this venture. And he eagerly jumped on board and said, yeah, I'll be your vice president, let's do this. So since then, we've worked together and built a wonderful board of directors here that I'm going to introduce. Paul Tompkins, if you can stand up as I say your name and just wave. Paul Tompkins. And Kim Walker is our secretary. Leslie Simpson, who's our treasurer. John Davidson, is MSW. Michelle Braco, my mother and food coordinator. And Richard Braco, my father, IT coordinator. Oh, and Trisha. Sorry, Tisha. Tisha Eves. To have you on my list, Tisha, I'm sorry. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Paul. He's going to come up and talk to you about our membership opportunity.